What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cullen the Great coming at you with another album review. Today, we're going to be talking about Wiz Khalifa's newest album, Kush Orange Juice 2. Now, I am a longtime Wiz fan. That was kind of one of the artists that really inspired me to start making music. So I find myself a little more critical of Wiz Khalifa just because I am such a big fan. However, this was some of the best Wiz I have heard in a long time. If you like the newer style of Wiz, or if you like the OG style of Wiz, whatever you're looking for, I'd say this album is about a 50-50 split on the sound that you're kind of looking for. And I think he did a great job incorporating some of his older style with some of his newer style within this album. Kush Orange Juice is obviously one of the biggest albums and mixtapes that he put out, and it kind of skyrocketed him into fame. It kind of solidified him as that stoner artist within the hip-hop industry. Like I said, there's about a 50-50 split of OG Wiz versus new Wiz. A lot of listeners might find themselves going, hell yeah, Wiz, this is a damn good song. And then other listeners might find themselves kind of having to skip a few tracks before they get to what they like. I did find myself having to tough out a fewer songs to get to the good part of the song. I thought it was kind of a weird mix where there wasn't really one song that stood out. There was a few verses from a couple of different songs and a few hooks from other songs that stood out, but nothing was really cohesive when it came to a great overall track from the album. A few examples of what I would call OG Wiz verses are How We Act and I Might Be. I found that he resembled a lot more of his older style within the verses of those songs, where Bring Your Lungs, Red Eyes, and even the Max interlude were some great examples of OG Wiz hooks or choruses where they're easier to sing along to. They're a lot more spacey. They remind me of when I was in high school smoking pot with my friends. Wiz, in my opinion, has always been somewhat of a hook god, where anything that he jumps on, if he's on the hook, it's probably going to be a pretty catchy, pretty easy to sing along to song. However, like I mentioned earlier, there wasn't really any choruses that stood out that are super catchy that you just want to go back to and listen over and over and over again. Red Eyes is a decent one. And then the song with Gunna is also a very catchy song, but it's kind of out there. It's something that you have to force yourself to essentially be a fan of, unfortunately. Another thing on the album that I thought was okay, wasn't great, wasn't bad, was the features that he had on the album. I thought he had a lot of good artists on the album. There was a lot of features on the album, but I'm missing those OG Wiz features. You know, Juicy J, Currency, Ty Dolla $ign, Chevy Woods, and there's a few songs on the album that have some of those artists, but it's not like it is on his previous albums where there's a bunch of hit songs and a bunch of features. And it kind of bummed me out a little bit. If I can't lie, you know, if we're going back to Kush and OJ days, I'd like to have some Kush and OJ features on there too. One of the coolest things about this album that I thought was an incredibly creative touch was the radio voice that Wiz had throughout the album. It kind of felt like you were sitting there listening to a radio show when you put the album on. And I know that was what he was trying to do with that. And I would say that it was successful in his attempt because I was a big fan of it. It kind of kept me engaged throughout the album. You know, if you sort of lost a little bit of steam while you're listening to it, all of a sudden that radio voice comes on and kind of gets you excited about the next little bit you're going to listen to. Overall, I don't think it was one of his best albums, but I don't think it was anywhere near his worst albums. Like I said, it was some of the best Wiz Khalifa that I've heard in a long time, and I definitely recommend you guys to go check it out. Like any other album, you can't listen to it just one time. You got to go through multiple times, listen to it, really get a feel for the album, find your favorites, and then make your decision from there. But overall, I'd give this about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And again, I recommend you guys go check it out. Listen to some of those songs that I mentioned earlier in the video, and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video. Make sure you click that like button, click that subscribe button, keep coming back for more reviews, and make sure you guys go check out the newest Cullen the Great Going Fishing, available now on all streaming platforms. Until next time, peace.